Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas. Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I'm your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 90 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here, we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing, highlighting that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join our Facebook group at Life Transformation Radio Community, where we interact with the guests and fellow listeners of the show. And never miss an episode by subscribing where you listen to podcasts. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Pandora, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Life Transformation Radio. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing human beings that are impacting the world around them. My guest today that does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, go ahead and give us a call at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. With that, please help me welcome to the show my amazing guest for today, Danielle Harris-Branch. Danielle, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thank you so much, Sean, for the privilege of being on air with you. It was a privilege to meet you.
Oh, my gosh. I am pumped to have you on the show. We met a couple weeks back, and wow, I'm just inspired. I'm in awe just of what I've read about you, what I've seen. It's just wow. And I couldn't be more happy than to have you on the show to talk about what we'll talk about today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I titled this episode, Transform Through Life's Hardest Blows, with speaker Danielle Harris-Branch. She is a speaker, a coach, an image promoter, and author of the forthcoming book, From the Other Side of the Bed, Allow Faith to Transform Your Perspective Through Life's Hardest Blows. She is a double cancer survivor and was simultaneously healed of uterine and ovarian cancer, and has also survived the battle against Stevens-Johnson syndrome, a rare condition that only affects every 2 in 1 million people. Danielle is also the recent widow of Delmar Branch, who endured 23 years of medical hardships with a smile. Her metamorphosis developed through life's painful blows and the recent death of her husband. Her humor, transparency, expertise, and experience in coping with painful experiences encourage those who feel lost, hurting, and looking for a purpose to live with confidence and boldness as she helps them reimagine their lives. This inspirational icon is also the founder of Global Girls Connect, executive director of R.E.A.C.H Community Services, Inc., and owner of Image Promoters. Danielle is an inspiration for those looking and needing to strengthen their faith, encouragement, relationship tips, purpose, healing, and hope. You can go through the links in the show notes Her Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube is right there. Click on those links, copy and paste them into your browser, and send her a friend request on your favorite platform. You can also go to her website at DanielleHBranch.com. See what she's got going on. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Danielle, the first question that I have to ask, and I believe is the most important question you could ever ask yourself, is why? Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? Why is because I needed me one day. And I know the power of sharing a testimony. I know the power of connection and finding strength. You know, when you don't have the strength, you need others in your life to actually show you the way and to be there for you. So my why is I needed me one day in my life. And the other why is I just want to share the hope and the power of God throughout the earth. I know that when it seems impossible, that's the day of your birth. That's the day of something miraculous about to happen. So that's my why.
I love it. So succinct, so real. I absolutely love that. And I think that I've seen that a lot just in the short amount of time that we've known each other. I feel like what you said there, I was like, yep, that's her. Yep. And you like live it out. You like, I mean, just in your appearance, in your content, on your website, it's like you're living that out. And I think people can take a note from that and say, that's what I need to do. Because I've talked to a lot of people. I speak at a lot of different events. And I'll ask people, like, well, what is your why? It's like, well, I don't know, I just want to help people. Like, well, that's not real inspiring. Like, everybody wants to help somebody, right? But I mean, like, dig deep. Like, what is your why? Like, reach in there and grab something. And then you poke and you prod and you poke. And finally, they're like, well, my mom did this or this or this, or I was born this. I'm like, yes, like that's what captivates people. That inner, like, I call it your inner Rocky. Everybody has a Rocky Balboa. You know what I'm saying? Like, your inner Rocky is why people root for you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I love Rocky, by the way, if you didn't notice.
Oh, I do too.
It's the greatest resilience story ever told. I mean, it really is. It's the greatest resilient story ever told. So, yeah, I don't know. I love it. I want to talk about the Steven Johnson syndrome, and we had a short little conversation about this a couple weeks back. But tell everybody, what is Steven Johnson's syndrome?
Well, Steven Johnson syndrome is a nightmare. Actually, it happened to me. It mostly happens because it's actually a rare, serious disorder of the skin and mucous membranes. And it's often a reaction to being allergic to medication or an infection. So you end up with these flu-like symptoms, and then you get this painful rash that spreads and blisters that follow, and then, it's so much to it, and your organs start to fail, and you can't breathe hardly because your lungs are filled with fluid, and it's just you're septic, and so many things are going on at one time, and it's scary. You can actually feel death going through it.
It just sounds scary. Like I'm picturing, you talk about blisters and organ failure. I was just, oh my gosh. Do they know where it comes from?
Well, most of the time it comes from, mine actually came from being allergic to medication. So when I actually, I was misdiagnosed with chicken pox at first, and he gave me some medicine for this and gave me permission to take ibuprofen with it. Well, I was allergic to the ibuprofen, so that caused it to actually inflame. So by the time I got to the hospital, I could not barely breathe, and they just started shoving antibiotics in me because that's how close I was to death.
Holy smokes. So was that before or after the overcoming the cancer?
That was after cancer.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, I finally beat it. I'm good to go. And then, okay, I'm back in the hospital. What's going on?
Yeah.
You know, like, have you ever, okay, so just off the wall question. Have you ever just thrown your hands up in the air and go, really? Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
like,
I have. And I know I have to quickly get myself together because I know how, if you stay on that path 1 second too long, you will be down a boulevard that you cannot hitchhike back from. So I throw it up because I believe in being transparent before God and, others. Sure. But, at that same time, okay, Danielle, you got to get through this,
I talk to a lot of people and, we go through this hard thing and you're like, oh, God, that hurts and it's tough and it could be a breakup, a divorce, loss of life somewhere. I mean, it's something hard. Even fired from a job can be hard for somebody.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, man, that was tough, but we're going to get through it. And then another thing. And then another thing.
Yeah.
And then a big thing. And they're just like, come on, please, come on. There's a couple of times in my life where it was like one thing and then another thing and another thing. And it was just like, throw my hands up. I'm like, what is this? Like what? Come on.
Yeah.
And you just sit there in that moment and you're just like I just don't have anything else to give.
Right.
I feel like I've given it all, and then like you said, it's like, okay, I'm freaking out a little bit. I'm freaking out. Okay, God, I know you're with me, and I don't know what you got planned right now, but I know it's going to be something amazing.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you got to bite your lip and just go for it, right? And just charge ahead. But everybody I ask, I've had some amazingly famous people on the show, and even they said, they're like, of course you throw your hands up, and you're like, come on, come on. But they all say the same thing, but you got to keep going. You can't just stay there in that moment.
Absolutely. And, after a while, after you go through, one thing I've learned in, just looking at God is that pain is a check engine sign. When things start to happen, we think that it's just happening, but it's happening because something inside of us is buried and only the pain can deliver it. So it's actually like we don't like the car is coming in, but it's still a vehicle of change in our life that God is trying to get us to live our best life, because we will settle in insecurity. We will find security in insecurity. So I guess the pain, when it comes, it pushes us to that next level so that we can continue to show up and grow, but it's all a perspective thing, even during my Stephen Johnson syndrome, it was all a perspective thing. And now, when you think about out of everybody on earth, God, you said that I was qualified to get through this problem. That's pretty privileged, considering and knowing who God is, knowing who he is, and knowing that he won't put you in a situation that he can't get you out of, and just picking you out of a billion people to go through that just to get something beautiful to you. Then you kind of change your perspective a little tiny bit on that problem,
Yep. I firmly believe, and I don't get into the conspiracy, politic, religion. Like, those are two things I just rarely will ever talk about on the show because those are very divisive topics. Mostly because people are scorned by them. Like if you listen to people like, oh, well, God hurt me, like that type of stuff. And that was me. That was me. When I went through my alcohol abuse, that was me. I was like, God, you're the kid with the magnifying glass burning ants. And I feel like you're always picking on me. That's how I felt. I was raised Roman Catholic.
Yes.
And everybody like, oh, just give it to God. I was like, no, I've given God enough. He's not getting one more thing. I mean, I was like mad. You know, I look back at the last 10 years, 15 years of my life. I cannot believe everything happens the way that it happened. Like, I had to abuse alcohol. I had to try to take my life. I had to then get healed. And by the way, went to chaplains to do it. I had to get some psychotherapy, psychology, whatever, for like childhood abuse. I had to go through this healing moment to then become a speaker, to then learn how to tell my story. As a drill instructor, they teach you how to speak and train. I had to become a mentor and a coach to others. I had to build a platform, this show, my speaker. I had to go through all of that stuff to then reach out, learn how to do it, and then do it. And I feel like your life is that. You had to go through the cancer and then another one. And you had to go, because these are the areas that people are dealing with, and you are uniquely qualified to then reach out and say, hey, this is how I did it. Hey, this is what my story was. Because everybody does. Everybody has a story. And I say all that to say that you are uniquely qualified, and what I think as a non-denominational Christian is that God qualifies the qualified. Yes. You don't qualify yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And we don't know what we can do. We don't know what we can do until we do it. You know, we think, oh, I can't do that, or I can't endure that, or I can't. But all of a sudden, you've done it. So we can't really conceive the power that's inside of us, and the power of decision, and the power of a testimony, and the power of overcoming. But we do know that people need our version of the story, because I believe that everybody has an audience before birth, that it's up to you to actually arrive and help those people. And it's so important that we come through, because behind us is traffic, and we actually pave the way when we come through a difficult time. So I agree with everything in my life. Even though it was tragic, even though it was so painful, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, because it made me who I am, and it birthed purpose, it birthed perspective, and it just birthed passion in my life. So even though my story is very extreme, I believe, I believe just like you do, it was all necessary, and I needed it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I 100% believe that. Absolutely. So the theme of the show is transformation. It's all about our transformation. So I want to know, from your perspective, what do you think was that transformational moment? I know you've gone through so much, and each one of those is probably a micro transformation. But you wrote the book. It's coming out.
Yes.
From the Other Side of the Bed. A lot of faith to transform your perspective through life's hardest blows. At what point did you say, okay, this is my moment? It's the transformational moment. This is what's happened to me and put me on the path to writing that book. This is what's happened to me to put me on the path to what I'm doing today.
So my transformational moment was when they told me my kidneys were failing. And up until that point, I welcomed death, because, like I said, last year, January, my husband passed. And I had never in my life experienced pain to that degree. I mean, it made me a whole different person. I didn't cry in front of people, but it was like the grief had a mind of its own. So all of the things that I thought that I could hide and get away with, it was revealing me. And I did, it just put everything that I knew on Front Street. So it was, I welcomed the death, even of the Stevens-Johnson syndrome. I was like, okay, I'm good, because I feel like, when you get up every day and it's a fight, and, I know somebody out there is listening on this broadcast, on this podcast, and they're thinking, I can't do this. I can't keep waking up like this every day. And that's how I felt. I felt like I can't keep waking up to this nightmare. And then I felt the tug of depression and all of those hard feelings. But it was when I actually got to the part in Stephen Johnson syndrome, and I woke. They put me on the renal failure floor. And after witnessing my husband go through 14 and a half years of just his struggles with dialysis, which led to brain surgery, which led to paralysis, but he came back, which led to his unlimited abdominal surgeries, which led to, oh my goodness, I cannot even begin to tell you all of the things that happened to him. I mean, it was just amazing, brain surgery and all of the things he went through. And I just had a flash of that in my mind. And I said, but you know what? I'm still here. And if I'm going to be here, I'm going to live a good whole life. And then I felt something when I decided to live, something inside of me kicked in and was like, Danielle, you can go one more round. And that's when I decided to live. And when I decided to live, you know, it was when somebody disappears, you know, you lose your role. And sometimes I really had lost my identity because I took pride in being a wife, and I took pride in, you know, just being there for him. I mean, it was so strange not to have to look after someone, but just deciding to live, it gave definition to my life again. And then all of a sudden grace kicked in and was just like, okay, I'm going to be with you. If you decide, I'll enable you. So I decided, and ever since then, there's been a roller coaster of things happening, including this podcast. You know, even this podcast is a part of my transformation because everything I thought I couldn't do, I'm now doing. So just deciding to live, and then, you know, when I decided to live, people just kept saying, Danielle, this person died. Can you help them? Danielle, this person died. Can you help them? So it's not all the time that you even get on the other side before you have to help somebody. Sometimes you have to be still in pain, helping others to pull them through their pain. And while you're helping them, some part of healing is happening in your life. So if you're out there and, you know, you feel like I can't get up another day feeling like this, or I keep feeling that pull of suicide, the pull of depression, the pull of just give up. You can get up again. Just get up. And I promise you, things will change. But that was when I decided, that was my moment of transformation. I said, I'm going to live. And ever since I decided to live, I live. I live. Find something every day to be grateful for. And I know that, you know, you need those people in your life to keep reminding you of there's greater in you, greater. You know, the devil doesn't come, or nobody comes for something that doesn't have value. And sometimes we have to look within and see the value in our lives that we just keep downplaying. But that was my moment of transformation. And ever since then, I've been living.
I love it. Oh, my God. I love everything about that. What I was thinking about when you were talking about it, and you said you're living. I'm reminded that Gary Vaynerchuk, I watched a video one time, and I think it was the one that kind of turned me on to him, was don't live for the weekend. Don't live like Monday through Thursday is the worst part of your life, and Friday you get to go party, hang out, whatever. Don't live for the weekend. So the inquisitive mind and fact and data person that I am, I'm like, I wonder how many people do this. So as I searched through the internet, there's a stat out there. Go figure. There's a stat out there that said if you only lived your life fully for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, a human would only live 10 years. You would have only lived a full life for 10 years. If you go out camping and hiking and boating and bowling and you go take a walk on the beach, or you only get out and, quote, live life Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but you're miserable Monday through Thursday in your 9-to-5 job and soccer practice and kids, and like you're not doing anything, but you're only living Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you would only live 10 years.
Yeah.
I thought that was incredible.
Yes. And the thing about it is that that's what I mean by being secure in your insecurity. You don't like that job. I mean, that's the thing, is I can either take a chance and discover something new about myself. You can get a job, but can you get a call or a purpose that, you know, something inside of your life that you may not even see, but it still wakes you up every day. And, you know, you find fulfillment in it. You know, even when you're not even getting paid for it, you're still getting a check of fulfillment. And I think that's what most people forget, is that you are here to fulfill a purpose in life, not just the weekend. And I think people like the weekend because I finally get to do something I like to do. You know, if your purpose, you can have a weekend every single day and get up like you're getting paid. So I think that's the part that people really forget about, is that if you do your purpose, if you do your passion, then even when it's hard and even when times get rough, you're still living, you know? So I love the fact that I can live and do my purpose. And, you know, even when it don't look like it's beneficial, I'm still benefiting because I'm growing. And then when you do your purpose, not only does your audience grow or your clients grow, you grow in the process.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. So I feel like so many of us are in our own way from achieving exactly what it is that we actually want to.
Yeah.
You know, one of the hardest things, and I just think it's relevant. Again, this isn't a religious show, but I think it's relevant that ask, seek, knock. I never understood that. I never understood that until about a year and a half ago. We were going into 2019, and just some crazy things happened, and we'd hit the 1 year anniversary of our child being born, and she died. She almost died twice before she was even born, and my wife almost died before she gave birth. So we hit that 1 year, and we were just looking at each other like, I cannot even believe that it is a year right now. I mean, you were just looking at this baby. It was feels like yesterday. Feels like we brought her home yesterday. Feels like we were going through all these intrauterine blood transfusions yesterday. Because the baby needed to be transfused with blood for it to survive.
Wow.
The wife's blood was actually killing the baby.
Wow.
And I was talking to one of my friends, and he just, you know, and I cannot believe, a year, bro. A year.
Yeah.
And he goes, ask, seek, knock, man. Ask, seek, knock. I'm like, what? Like, everybody says that. Like, I don't get it. So, of course, you Google it, and you read it, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is whatever. And he goes, it means something different for everybody, but I'm telling you, man, ask, seek, knock, man. Ask.
Yes.
Always ask. Like, why is this happening to me? Or what do you want me to do with this? Or there's a million questions you could ask, but it all has to be, you have to ask. You have to open the door, initiate the conversation, and then seek whatever it is that you're trying to seek it out. Seek what it has for you. Seek what you're, like, if you're questioning things, seek, read, right?
Yes.
And then knock, and the door will be opened.
Yes.
And it was at that moment on my daughter's first birthday in 2018 that I got it. And I was just like, man, if you think about it, all of the people in Scripture that had a transformation, went through this kind of ask, seek, knock, right?
Yes.
Every single one of them. And then they became qualified. And ever since then, it was like, I got this. And we got this. And there's going to be tough times, but I know we got this.
And the craziest thing is, Sean, is that they were qualified before they went through. But they went through so that they could understand how qualified they were. I mean, because
yes.
it's almost like we're trying to catch up with our future. You know, we've been asleep so long, and we didn't know our rights. So we've been living in like a prison with you know how they say you have a court appointed attorney. You know, we've been living in a prison with a free sentence that we refuse. You know, it's like being locked up with your own keys, with the keys to the door, you know. So I love the act. I mean, I love it because it comes down to what we need to do. We have a responsibility in our freedom to actually pursue the things that's in our heart. It's all inside of us, but we just have to unlock it, you know. So, and when we go through those things, we understand that, oh, we have a different strength now. You know, we know different things about it. Something has awakened inside of us. So, and it was going to be all right at the beginning. I mean, that's just
right. That's the crazy thing.
Before I even got sick, I was already healed. You know, that's just how I like to see it. But the process of going through became my prize. So now nobody can steal my experience from me. And now when I have to go through something even bigger, you know, he brought me through cancer, but he brought me through cancer so I could know that I could make it through death. And then I can make it through Steven Johnson syndrome. So it's like a resume being built of strength and power and love. And, you know, after a while, we're going to get it. We're going to get it.
Yep. 100%. Absolutely. I want to know how you've taken your transformational moment, every moment you've had, and you elevate the world around you with it. I think it's a waste that if we go through these dark moments and you're like, oh, I'm better, I'm healed, but then don't tell anybody about it. And so many people are afraid, whether it be a loss of life or overcoming addictions, overcoming abuse, like anything, right? Anything hard that we go through, and we keep it to ourselves. I just feel like we're doing a disservice to not only ourselves, because actually in 2016, I wrote my first book called Decisions, The Power to Overcome Self-Defeating Behavior. It's available on Amazon.
Oh.
#1 bestseller. It was amazing. And so I wrote the book. There was so much healing in that book. I mean, I poured everything out in that book. My pastor even used it as a sermon series for a month, talking about the transformations of Bible figures.
Right.
Just that transformation, like when Abraham was going to sacrifice his son, or when Paul on the road to Damascus, or Moses, slave. I mean, just every and he basically took my book, mated it up with scripture, and said, this is the principles of transformation, but he read from my book, and I was like, no way, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. But I poured everything out of that book. And so many people one guy was like, I got 2 bad reviews out of the, 20 or whoever that I have. The one guy was like, this book sucked. It was basically a book on what not to do in your life. I was like, dude, you totally missed the point. You totally missed it. And another guy was like, yep, we all go through hard things. Not all of us cry about it, though. Like, that was his review. I'm like, really? Wow. Yeah. But everybody that has ever read it, people that I've been on their podcasts talking about the book, they were just like, bro, the book, wow. and I would love it to be a movie one day. I wrote it as if it was like a timeline of events, me and another guy are talking in a bar, like it's a conversation in a bar. It's real loose. But I just, that was part of the platform. It was part of the process. And I feel like your book is the same way. It's just another part of the process.
Just another part of the process. And I can say the same thing. Writing this book brought me so much healing. And I just, you get a different perspective, and while I'm writing, I'm getting downloads from God, like, oh, I had him there so that I can meet this need and that need. And, so it's so much healing that has taken place, and, just reaffirming who you are. And I mean, I had how one thing actually triggers another thing, and it triggers another thing. And one of my things, I went to counseling for the first time in my life, and he was talking about how, God won't put more on you than you can bear. So the healing process, he just starts to slip in something as you can handle it. God starts to give you and download, oh, this is why this happened. This is why I didn't let you fit in there. This is why I allowed them to do this, but you were always in my care. So through my process, I just learned, my tragedy to triumph. I had these things that I had to learn how to do. One, I had to decide to live. And two, I had to discover what was inside of me and discover my pain and discover the things that I ignored or I called small and God called big. I had to detach from, toxic relationships and limiting thoughts. I had to started to design a plan for life. I had a dream, and I took some time to design life for myself so that I could give God something to work with. And then now he's given me confidence to deliver like I can't fail. And I know that my life is necessary. So how I take my pain is, anybody that I run into, now I have people that call and say, Danielle, can you pray for me? Danielle, you went through this. Can you help me with this? Or I just lost my loved one. And, I could feel again. My husband's death allowed me to feel again, because I found myself telling myself, don't feel about nothing. Don't feel anymore, right, so you can get through it. But just that allowed me to feel again. So just actually going through that thing and using it as a gift to the world. I don't have anything to lose. I'm here for you. And that's what it's about. It's just about, somebody needed me. I needed me one day. So that's why I choose to be there for other people.
Ooh, y'all, there's so much in there. Wow, you needed you. I mean, that's powerful just in itself. I'm wondering, do you have some sort of a coaching program that you offer to people?
I am. I just started a coaching program, actually, because I had been just helping people just randomly. But I want to see people actually get through this life. But number one is that healing process. Once you become healed, you become unstoppable. So that's the main thing. But I love graphics and my promotional company. So once we get healed and we start to cancel those inner bullies that try to tell us who we are, and then once we actually see our isness, my pastor talks about this thing called isness. He made it his own word, and that's just walking in who you are with confidence. So once you can walk in your isness, then I give you the tools to show up in the world. So I do have a coaching program to help those who want to go from just being in pain to soaring with confidence and healing. So yes, I do.
Awesome. So I get these goosebump moments, and I become self-aware when I get these goosebump moments to just stop and freeze. So when I feel myself, like my energy and my heart rate starts climbing, I just got to stop. And something amazing will happen. Or death will happen. One of the two.
Oh, God.
She's like, I'm serious. like my dog had passed away, and I got these weird goosebumps, and I'm like, oh, is something amazing going to happen? No, my dog died. I'm like, oh, what the hell? So that was like real crazy. But for the most part, like I recognize these things. And so as you were speaking, I felt healing by design, because you do graphics and images and all that stuff, design stuff.
I did.
So I was thinking you could have a program called Healing by Design, and then through graphic images, through video, you could design someone's story or design someone's transformation through graphics, through video, and call it Healing by Design.
I like that, Sean. I like that.
I'm just saying.
Something magical.
Something cool. That's what I felt. I was like, this has got to be a thing. I didn't Google it. I don't know if it's even a thing right now. I don't even know if the website's available. Usually, if I got an idea, I'm like, all right, let me Google that. Let me go to the healingbydesign.com. You know, I gotta. Yeah, like I gotta set that up out of the domain. I probably own a good 15 or 20 domains for nothing. just for nothing. But I just, oh man, I don't know. I just think that just designing someone's healing, I think would be super cool. But yeah, I'm glad that you have all of that situated, and the books are coming out. Amazing. What I want to know right now is your message. As we start to close the show, I always leave the audience with a message. So if they don't listen to the episode at all until this point, they came in on the episode at this moment, what is your message for the listeners?
My message to the listener is go through it. Don't get caught in the process, because every pain has a payoff. Everything that you go through, everything that you endure, it has a payoff. And you are the first beneficiary of that payoff, because nothing goes unseen, unnoticed, but there is just something inside that just needs to come to life. Pain provides that pressure to actually, when you get to that place where it's pressure, you have to decide, and there is something, just like a diamond has to have that pressure in its life, is that you can come forth and shine like never before. Shine with confidence, shine with enthusiasm, and just love being you, So my message to the world is that if you invite God in, nothing is impossible. But he has to be invited in. Invite him into your situation, and he will make it happen. But there's a payoff to every pain. There is a payoff to every pain, and pain is not forever, but it's a vehicle, and we don't always like that vehicle, but we like what it brings. We love what it brings. And, you can make it. You can survive. You can transform. Your life is in the process of being transformed, and that tragedy is becoming a triumph. And even though it seems like you have a losing hand, you can still win. You can still win.
Love it. Oh, I love it so much. This has been absolutely amazing.
It has been.
It was everything that I thought it was going to be. I'm so super pumped that you could be on the show. I just wish you the best for the rest of 2020, and for your book. When do you think your book's going to come out?
I'm shooting for by February. It should be out by February. It should be
February.
Out. Earlier, Sean. But hopefully
perfect.
It's done by February.
Perfect. I love it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a privilege meeting you. It was an honor to on your show. Thank you so much for your nuggets that you sown into my life. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you again.
You're so welcome. I did a quick search just because that's who I am. And there's a book called Healing by Design, Unlocking Your Body's Potential to Heal Itself. But that's it. And then I went to healingbydesign.com through Google Domains, and it says it's already registered. So I bet if you went something like, I don't know, you put in a word in there or something like that. But anyway, just playing around with the Healing by Design words or, whatever. But anyway, so there is a book written by Healing by Design, but not what we're talking about. It's something completely different. But there you go. I had to know.
You're going to play with that a little bit because I love it. I love that.
Oh, for sure. Just the process alone, right? Showcasing somebody's story through video, through graphics, through, there's some healing in there. So for veterans, they actually have a painting course or a painting therapy, I guess, where like veterans go in and they paint, whatever. They learn to paint or they just paint, and just designing something is it's healing for them, for PTSD, for trauma, for TBI, whatever. So I was thinking, I'm like, man, there's so much healing, but you can design your healing too. You can just design it. So that's kind of where I was going, but super cool. So Instagram, Facebook, your website, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube is right there in the show notes for all of the listeners. Where do you want people to go? What's the starting point that you want people to start getting to know you at?
I think that I would love for them to visit me at DanielleHBranch.com. And, we can work together. You can see who I am. You can read a little bit about my story. I have a few videos up there, but most importantly, let's connect and make something that we didn't even think was possible, because I just believe that when you get together with people, like-minded people, the sky is the limit. You can come up with something, and I love to connect with authentic people. It doesn't even matter if you're authentically wrong. Just be authentic, So, I love it. I love the connection. I know how important good support is in your life. So I want to be one of those people that, be your cheering squad. Everybody needs a cheering squad in life, So, I would love for you to connect there, subscribe. I'm about to shoot out some very good blog posts, and you're going to see some more and learn some more about my crazy life. DanielleHBranch.com. Let's start there. And my Facebook.
Love it. Yep.
And if you need inspiration, I have some inspirational tips on my page, and that's Instagram.com, Danielle H. Branch. And I try to list, just some inspirational thoughts. I love quotes. So you'll find a lot of quotes there, and you'll find some tidbits that you can just make it through the day with.
Perfect. Love it. Again, Danielle, it was an honor having you on the show. Oh, my God. I loved this conversation so much. This was so good. We went so deep in so many places. And, I feel like we just peeled back the first layer. So, again, I just wish you the best. You are amazing person of inspiration. And I hope this isn't the last time we hear from you.
No, it won't be, Sean. Thank you so much again. It was an honor.
You're welcome. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around her. If anything's resonated with our conversation today on Life Transformation Radio with Danielle Harris-Branch, please connect with her on your favorite platform. Go to DanielleHBranch.com. Start there. Got her blogs. She's got a book coming out, so be prepared for that. And as we close the show, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.
Bye.